Welcome back. So, today is going to be the start of what is hopefully a series, although, like with the heresy hunting, the next episode probably won't be until a while. So, I'm going to call it Bookish Topics. One thing I like to watch on YouTube is these kind of commentary videos about books in general, and it's kind of interesting. So, I thought I could take a run at it. And the first video I wanted to do in this series was the topic would be kind of more controversial. So I thought I should start with this one, which can still have some controversial elements, but it shouldn't be that bad. So, of course, as you can see probably from the title, we are going to talk about the 5-star rating system. So, yeah, let's get into it. Alright, so let's start off with what is the 5-star rating system. So I think it's pretty self-explanatory. It's rating something out of 5 stars. So 5 stars is the best rating and 1 star being the worst rating. That's pretty self-explanatory. So now where this topic becomes a little interesting is when we talk about exactly what each of the rating systems, each of the star ratings mean. So, start off with the Goodreads rating system, which when you go to click on a star rating, this is what it'll say it means. So, now this is from memory, so I might get this wrong, but I think so. 1 star means I did not like it, 2 star means it was okay, 3 star means I liked it, 4 stars means I really liked it, and 5 stars means it was amazing. Now, of course, as you might have noticed if you've spent time on BookTube, most people don't go by that rating system. Mainly in that, we'll go over some specific examples of what some people mean by the different ratings, but for now, so the things I've generally noticed that oftentimes 2 stars doesn't mean it was okay. It often means that it was also not good, but there was usually 1 or 2 redeeming aspects that kept it from being 1 star. Let's see. And typically 3 stars is also kind of a bad rating. So, I mean, it's hard to say exactly, but yeah, usually I feel like 3 stars usually means now that it was just okay. So, right now, let's go over. I screenshotted some examples of some bookstagrammers of 5-star ratings and what these means. So from the account, the Real Life Book Reviewer, 5 stars means, wow, blew my mind, I loved it so much. 4.5 stars means, I liked it a lot, it was just missing something for me to give it a full 5. 4 stars means, I liked it, overall an enjoyable read. 3 stars means, it was missing something for me, I didn't enjoy all of it. 2 stars means, probably should have DNF'd, just not for me. 1 star means, it's a no from me. And then another account, Paris May reads, 5 stars, I laughed, cried, or gasped my way through the book, will always recommend. 4 stars means an all-around solid read, would recommend. 3 stars, it's not you, it's me. The book contained multiple themes that I personally do not enjoy reading, but you might. 2 stars, not a fan, barely able to finish the book. And then 1 star means did not finish, or DNF. And then I tried to in finding this list, I tried to find bigger Bookstagram accounts, but the ones I did find, I couldn't find their rating system, so I just searched up rating system into Instagram, and the accounts that I kept getting that had these were usually anywhere between 1,000 and 7,000 followers. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm allowed to mention this one, so I screenshotted 2 of those. I'm gonna read this one from Positively Book Mad. 5 stars means I loved it, I would highly recommend it, and I will be rereading it. 4 stars means I really enjoyed it, but it was missing something or one aspect annoyed me, preventing the final star. 3 stars means I enjoyed it, but not enough to reread it. I might recommend it. 2 stars, it was hard to finish, and I usually only persisted because I liked one aspect. 1 star, DNF or regrets finishing it. I could not find aspects that I enjoyed. Yes. So as you can see through those examples, there were some there was some consistency throughout the different things, but there are also some slight differences. That yeah, that seems to be theme for so I think from those stars it was mainly like 1 star meant DNF, but I've also seen some people say that like 2 stars means DNF, and as you can see in one of the examples, 2 star meant probably should have DNF. And of course, the rating DNFs things is something that we're gonna get into a little bit later. So yeah, so this section was kind of like to talk about issues, which like some of these are, although I don't really know. I watched a video talking about like the issues with the 5 star rating system. I don't remember all of them. Is one of them I'm gonna address, but I don't know. So one issue that I think a lot of people have with the 5 star rating system is that it's kind of oversimplified. There's like all these aspects to a book, and you're just simplifying it down to just 1 star rating system. Which like I do understand that. I don't know how to say it. Like I understand that, but also like I don't mind it. And I feel like expanding upon like all like the different aspects of a book, I feel like that's what reviews are for. So like I don't really so I agree with the oversimplification, I guess, but I also don't mind it. So yeah. And then another thing that like people have talked about, this is mainly in relation to Goodreads, is the fact that there is no half stars. So yeah, and the no half stars is like I think part of the reason why some people are switching over to Fable, because they do allow half stars and even quarter stars, and it's apparently easy to switch over to Fable from Goodreads. I've considered switching over to Fable, but I don't know. There's been a few things. Like the first thing I saw was that like in one of the advertisements for it, there was like something about horoscopes, and I was like, no, thank you. So yeah, but that's more I guess a personal thing. And another thing that I'm not so sure, and I guess this would be just something to ask about for people who are on Fable, is that uh, like a good amount of the books that I read and want to read are like obscure. So like even though that you can import your data from Goodreads, would those books be on Fable? I don't really know, and I don't know if I want to risk it. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, back to like Goodreads. Some people, I think Goodreads has like publicly said that like the reason they they don't have half stars is because it'd be too hard to implement. Although one video I saw saying like it's not that hard to implement it. Although, and she said that she thinks like the reason why Goodreads doesn't allow half stars is because they don't want people to think too much about the ratings, which I mean, which I mean, I guess I wouldn't be surprised, but I mean, some of us are overthinking it anyway. So, but I guess they don't know that. Then another thing that I wanted to touch on before I got to a different topic is I told you to keep in mind something earlier is the idea of rating DNFs. So there's some, I guess, divide over whether or not you should rate your DNFs. So, I mean, I personally don't rate my DNFs, and I don't think you should because you didn't technically read the whole book, so you can't judge the whole book, which is what it'll show up as based on just what you read. And this is like I don't know how many people do this, but for me, I don't even really add the books that I've DNF'd to my Goodreads. I mean, often that's mainly because for a lot of these books that I've stopped reading, I'm like, well, I might come back to it eventually. So, yeah, but even the ones I know I'm not gonna come back to, I still haven't added to my Goodreads. So yeah, there's that. So one of the things I mainly wanted to talk about with this topic is how the creators I've watched treat 5 star reads. And the main thing that I've seen is that they always they how do I say this? It almost feels like to them like they never have enough 5-star reads, or not never have enough, but they complain about that they don't have enough 5-star reads. However long into the year they are. I've seen like one creator is like, oh, I only have 2 5-star reads this year. I only have 9 5-star reads this year, and then I saw another video from someone I don't usually watch, but I think is new to the scene, saying, "Well, I've only had 5-star reads ever," and it's really interesting, like seeing all this, because for me, like I've never had a 5-star reads, and I almost feel like it's that meme, which I might put a picture over here. Where it's like, oh, guys, I can explain. Well, you have this much, and then no, you have this much. I only have this much, and then I'm over here like, you guys get 5-star reads? So yeah, which, by the way, I'm not complaining about the fact that I never had a 5-star reads. Like, I'm good with my 4 stars and my 4.5 stars, which we will get into later. I mean, there is one book that I loved growing up that I haven't reread in years, and when I reread it, I would like to have given it, I would like to have, I would like to give it 5 stars, but I mean, even like, so yeah, but I guess the way that I've kind of seen this kind of behavior in myself is like looking, like trying to put together like my top books for this year and my honorable mentions. And I know I've gotten like sometimes a little disappointed in the fact that of my top books, there are only 6. Well, I guess because I only had 5 last year, and I wanted to just not be strict with the amount, but yeah, there's only like one more best book. So, I mean, and I feel like a lot of this comes down to like the expectations. Like, I think people have expected that if we're going by what 5-star means, that too many books are going to be the best books ever. And that's just not realistic. Not every book is going to be one of the best books ever. And I feel like someone said this in another video, that like your average rating for a book should be like 3 stars. And I know some people don't want that because to them 3 stars is a bad rating, but I don't think it is. At least for me, it's only sometimes a bad rating, but we will get into that next. So yeah, I don't know how to conclude this section. I guess it's just don't have too high of expectations for the ratings for books. Just it, like celebrate the 5 stars when they come, but also like embrace your 4 stars and 4.5s or whatever other ratings. So yeah. Alright, so this last part of the video, we're gonna go through kind of what my ratings mean for like these different stars. So let's start with 1 star. I haven't had a 1-star book either. And I think for a time and if we're thinking through this video, I was thinking that I'd never have a 1-star book, because at the time I thought, well, if a book is really that bad, then I'll just DNF it. But I realized that since then, I mean, I haven't DNF'd a book since March, but I feel like nowadays the main reason why I DNF is because of content problems and not usually because a book is really bad. And there's been a few books that I've read, which we'll talk about next, that I contemplated giving 1 star at one point, but then found some redeeming qualities and gave it 2 stars. So, yeah. And then for 2 stars, yeah, I guess it typically, for me, I go along with like, yes, my assessment has been with that, which is like, it's mostly bad, but there are a few redeeming aspects of it, or at least one redeeming aspect, I guess. So the books that I've given 5 stars, how many? Okay, so at the time I've given 5 books a 2-star rating, and I think for some of these, when I go through examples of books that I've given these ratings, I could hold some of these books up, but I'm just gonna. So for the books I've given 2 stars, we have Jasmine by M.D. Meyer, Moonblood by Anne Elizabeth Stengel, Catwalk by Melody Carlson, Women Talking by Miriam Taves, and Burnt Orange by Melody Carlson. So, which that last one we will talk about in my next recent reads. All right, so now for 2.5 star books. Oh wait, what did I actually? I never really thought about, like, I've got examples here of some books that I gave 2.5 stars. It actually isn't that much, but I guess I'm trying to think, like, I guess it's not as bad as a 2 star. Like, I don't know. So yeah, the only 2 books given 2.5 stars, you got Wings Like a Dove by Christine Fahrenhorst, which again I read recently. I'll talk about that one more. And then the only other one I have is Screenshot by Donna Cooner. Yeah, I think with that one, with Screenshot, I just gave it as low as I did because I was just disappointed. I don't know if I'd even agree it was that bad. And yeah, and I guess Wings Like a Dove, like, I didn't really like it, but I guess, like, it was as well done as it could have been, which I'll talk more about in the next. And then for my rating, yes, I'm going through all the point stars ratings. We got 2.75 stars. So this one is a little interesting because I guess for a while it was one thing and now it's kind of a different thing since I got out of my I need to be drawn in to really like it phase. So when I was in that phase, 2.75 stars meant that I just wasn't drawn in. Like, there wasn't anything bad, but I just wasn't drawn in, so I couldn't justify giving it 3 stars. So, and there were certainly other books that there were certainly at the time there were books that I gave higher ratings but also wasn't drawn in. But these ones, yeah. So the 2.5 stars, and again, this is not all the books that didn't draw me in, but some of the ones are The Orphanage by Lizzie Page, Premiere by Melody Carlson, The Truth About Forever by Sarah Dessen, and There's a Bat in Bunk 5 by Paula Danzinger. Yeah, I didn't pronounce that last one right. So those were the ones that meant, like, there's nothing really wrong, but I wasn't drawn in back then. But then there's one more book that I've given 2.75 stars since then, and that is Bound by Victoria Lynn. And I think with this one, like, I actually was drawn in, but I could see after that that didn't make it. It just wasn't very good. And I think I even said in my review on Goodreads that I actually initially wanted to give it a lower rating, but the ending made me bump it up to 2.75. So I guess other than that, it would have been 2.5 stars. So yeah. So now we're kind of transitioning doing the, I guess, somewhat more positive ratings. So this is 3 stars. So yeah, 3 stars I think for me typically means either one of 2 things. The first one we're going to talk about is I liked it, but it just wasn't spectacular. That's what I say 3-star is for me. So some of the examples of that. So basically any Melody Carlson book that I gave 3 stars would fall under that category of I liked it but wasn't spectacular. And then I guess another one for that would be Eyes for My Off Limits Crush by Ella Marie. Although that one did have there were some aspects I didn't care for in that one, but I guess I overall liked it. But then sometimes 3 stars can mean I did not really like it, but it doesn't deserve less than 3 stars. So an example that would be Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. So yeah, there's that. And then another, I guess with the 0.5s, I'm not sure how to define it, although I guess except for 4.5. So for 3.5 star reads, yeah, I've kind of figured out somewhat what this means. So the first book I ever gave 3.5 stars would be It's Complicated by Laura L. Smith. And how I rationalized this rating for this one was that the first half was more of a 3-star read and the second half was more of a 4-star read. So I just thought, just go in the middle, that's where my rating is. And then I think in later times, 3.5 stars meant like it is good, but they're like it's good, like 4-star worthy, but there's some parts I didn't care for. So I guess an example of that would be Where the Blue Sky Begins by Katie Powner. Yeah, because that book was good, but some things that kept coming up I did not care for. And then another thing that I'll give two more examples of that for what 3.5 stars can mean is like it's I liked it enough to give it 4 stars, but the quality is a 3-star. So some of those books that I okay, so some of those books that I in that category that I gave 3.5 stars would be Summer According to Humphrey by Betty G. Burney and Pitch Black by Melody Carlson. So yeah. And now for 4-star reads. Yeah, so again, like with 3 stars, 4 stars can either mean what do you think? Oh, I also probably should have mentioned it earlier that like sometimes I read a book based on the quality of it, and sometimes I go off of how much I enjoyed it. So I guess that should make the rest of this easier to understand. So sometimes 4 stars can mean like I really enjoyed it, but I had some issues. So for that one, that would be like Skinny by Laura L. Smith. Yeah, that one I really enjoyed, but I had one issue. And actually, when I first talked about it, I couldn't even really explain what I liked about it. So there's that. And then another thing that 4 stars sometimes mean is that it was good and there weren't any glaring problems that I could think of, but it just wasn't giving me that 5-star feel. So a perfect example of that one would be Keep Holding On by Suzanne Colasanti. So yeah, there's that. And now for the last one, we talked about my closest thing ever to a 5-star read, 4.5-star reads. Now, I've only ever had 3 of these, and I think they've come to mean like books that gave me that 5-star feeling, but there were a few issues that I couldn't justify giving it 5 stars to. So those 3 books are Stargirl by Jerry Spinelli, All That Really Matters by Nicole Deese, and How to Disappear by Sharon Huss Wrote. So I guess with that, a 5-star book for me would be a book that gave me that 5-star feeling, and I also didn't have any issues with, which the more that I read, I wonder if that book even exists. Like, yeah, that one book that I really liked, it might be that, but I guess we'll see. So that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this more topical kind of discussion, and I hope you stick around for the next one. That is all. Goodbye.